Recording in progress. Showed up. The Mounties just showed up. Mounties. Meg and
Lois, is there a place that you want this? Is there a place you want this facing? You can see it here. What do you want? It won't show up like that. Yeah. Okay.
It's good. It's nice to just
Yeah. Good.
And then as soon as I got here, it's in the back.
Good to see Alana real fast. I will back.
so glad.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all. Yeah.
Oh my. I just want to know. There's agendas if anyone wants a copy. If you don't. More here. That's the.
We are away with that. But extra for every job. Think of the hours, like totally have.
Not what?
Not a week.
I'm like, you know about this.
As a senior, yeah, like I just didn't do any work. I went to see how they did.
Gotta know where to go. Okay. I can't take everything. Terms that I covered in the. Oh, yeah, I know it's not me. Where's Joe?
I just told.
Where's Joe?
There's a Megan Travis.
Let's see on
Megan Travis.
I promised we would start at 2. So we can go and have the rest of the day. Is everybody signed in, please? Please sign in. And get a miniature banana, an apple, and anything else.
His own chair.
Okay. Okay, where's Joe? Oh, no, just.
Their middle school program, Susan, Meg's letting them into the mount so they can.
Just a layer. A layer. Because I have a. Okay.
All right.
Good job.
Sorry. Okay, one and all of you. From a busy Saturday in the fall to attend the Pine Growing Center Coaches Meeting. This meeting is primarily the purpose of safety. I will openly admit that I have never officially coached, nor should I ever coach, I've been told. But I am responsible for everything that goes on here. And I am so happy and pleased that we have responsible people. Now, I know there are a lot of assistant, what I call novice coaches, that's first year, second year. They may be 40 years old, but they may never have coached. And there are six of the trade. Now, during this meeting, it has to be interactive. But you don't want to listen to me because I only have some very, very boring things to mention to you. But they are extremely important. I will start from the very beginning. All of you coaches are responsible for all of your charges, all of your roads. It starts from when they come down Washington Street. They can't drag race down Washington Street. Yes, I do have, Growing Center has a parking attendant again. And what I have noticed in the early days, basically, here, Megan, you gotta sign in, please. Okay, you, what was I saying? The parking attendant, really, I asked him to use his common sense. If the parking lot is busy and confused, and it's usually just in the beginning with those, I'll call them parents or guardians, who's ever dropping off and pick up. They seem to be following the traffic. And what we have done this year from the very beginning, started a couple weeks ago. Mario is very good in preparing materials. Chris is the parking attendant, is called Chris. Chris and the driver. Have you received one of these? Meaning the.
Yeah, good time.
Anyway, parking is okay now. Fortunately, Villanova is permitting us to park in their lot, which we are trimming, and I'll to communicate with them, I tell them that we will keep the weeds down, whatever. And I'm willing to pay the liability insurance for that section. I haven't asked them. Now, I know your contact there, Bob Morrow, has resigned, he retired, but he gave me the list of names of everybody else to know it. All right, we want to use the green emblems. They're not really a control factor. But when we see a car with that green emblem, we know that they're registered for some school or something. And actually, it has been handy last year when there have been car accidents. And there's a camera pick them up. Now, I can tell you what we're doing right now. And all of this, remember, is for the safety of everybody that's on campus. All of the outside lights around the Mount building are sunset to sunrise. I have just gotten a quote to replace all of these lights on the outside to sunrise, sunset to sunrise. And also, I'm going to have 2 towers. I'm renting, I think, for the Villanova lot, because there are no lights there, and it's dark when people are leaving. So you have to instruct your rowers to be considerate. And that's one of the things I want to stress amongst you, because what you do, your rowers will do. So if you're courteous to them and you remind them to be courteous to one another, and if they see something on the floor, or pick it up so somebody doesn't trip on it. I am getting the wound 2 more for the Mount building, 1 in the front, 1 in the back for the hoses. Those hoses are a danger if you sort of walk on them and trip on them. Right. As I said, I have to tell you, it's boring, but it's necessary. Okay? I can't stress the. I see. Sometimes I'm very, very pleased with the two children. I call them children, they're little squirts. And sometimes I'm ready to say, thank God I've never had.
The done rating.
What's that? It's not. Okay.
Wonderful.
Right, the outside lights. So we no longer have a timer in here that goes on and off at 2 p.m. to 7 whenever. That'll be discontinued. So we'll have lights in the total.
All
We
night.
will also make sure all the cameras are working. Okay? The cameras are key as far as that goes. Anybody who signed, make sure before you leave, you sign. Why am I doing this? Because we have a new insurance carrier. Remember when we had an issue with Notre Dame years ago? Well, that insurance company decided that they didn't want the Heinz Rowing Center as a client. However, I have a very good agent and we are now with Erie. And I'm very willing to send you what they call the. I'm gonna say demand sheet. It's the top sheet that says, here's the policy number and. And expiration, because your AD, some of your ADs ask for, it, some don't. So what I might do is just send it to all of the same people that we send the invoices to, which Mario's very good at sending them out. Do I think they're perfect? No, not because she's not perfect, but because you're always buying and selling and trading and moving your shelves. Okay, so we have to keep track of it. This is basically an honor system, but I want to make sure that everybody has storage, proper storage, and it's comfortable. We will be doing some rearranging with the trailers, not with anything up here. But you've heard me mumble about I'm putting up another set of racks, a double-sided for. Why do we need more? Because nobody really wants to put any boats on the top rack. Even though we have steps and we have videos showing how to use them, they just don't want to go on it. So Joe and Marie, I've asked them to be a duo, which means Marie nags Joe and says, when are you going to do this? We're moving trailers around, getting tighter. And the what's that thing, the cart, WD.
Tuck wagon.
The tuck wagon. The tuck wagon's gonna be moved from there to there, next to the fence. We're tightening up. The Heinz Rowing Center trailer will be moved as far as we can to the Washington Street. And that's sort of like a catch-all. I don't mind if somebody says, I don't know what to do with this boat, instead of paying here, where should I put it? Put it on the Heinz Rowing Center and then call me. Or call Mario saying this, somebody gifted us this boat. Where do I put it? Because we use what I call the sticks. Jason put them together. It was yes. All right, he goes, and we have to know where every boat is. Why? Because I'm liable. I'm responsible. And I have to just stay on top of everything. Okay. So I told you about the new insurance carrier. What's that car doing there? Is that a parent or something?
Probably. The program started today, so
Okay, so
sorry about that.
that's it. The kids are great. The parents drive me crazy. You all know. All right, the other thing that I need to know, I have to have now, is a copy of your electronic license. But all of you know who's in your program. You have their names and you have them signing all the waiting. But there she goes. Anyway, we need that record for us, Heinz Growing Center, as the landlady, as the land keeper. I'm responsible for anybody that's on this thing. You know, I never had children before they all happened. Okay, and you guys are great. Just keep communicating to your chores who must communicate with their parents. Okay. All right. I work with Marie a great deal. She will be a dock master. She's smart enough to know when she has to be a dock master and when she doesn't have to be it. And she also obviously works very closely with WBC, and we work it out. It's a good working relationship. And so I have to be very, very careful about launches. I'll tell you, if anybody wants to buy what I call the cruisers, the thing that our coast on,
Wait,
you find a place to put it, but it's not going to be on these sides. There is no place. Now, the other thing is the Heinz Growing Center has a little launch. And I will be asking the coaches to take it out occasionally to make sure that the sea pump works. Otherwise, my battery goes dead. Whatever. What else do I have to tell you about things? You hear me mumble and grumble that I want to put an end to. It's a daydream. But still was the mount to row 2005. And so we said, what I want to do, and I'm sure everybody will have an opinion, I think they do, put a 2-story annex where where you would lose your little bench. Okay? But we need a gym. Because we can't have the weights hanging around or people are tripping over them. Marie put all the weights into the Cabrini storage cabinet. And then those who use weights have to take them out from back in, whatever. The fire marshal loves Mario. Well, no, the assistant one, the one that has only 51 cards in his.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Anyway, but he walks around and the doors have to be clear. Chains on the door, we need all kinds of things. And she takes care of them. I just sit in the corner because I'd lose it if I had to deal with them. But we're very compliant. We're very good at that. Okay. I told you about the lights, talk about that. I told you about the roster. Gas cans. You've got to put your gas cans away. If I had an insurance agent come and do a surprise inspection, we may lose our insurance. Gas cans must be kept in gas lockers. Now, Cabrini's is empty. It's ready to fall apart, but it's empty. So that's where I put mine. But you can't have gas cans just on the end. The other thing, and I already spoke with Sean about this, masters. Masters are masters. They're masters of what they do. Therefore, they don't need to have any help or any direction. Wrong. You know, I come here in mid-morning, and there's slings all over the place, but they don't put them away. You also need to, Mario has done this, put out, ask for everybody, when are you launching and when are you returning? Because everybody has to know what everybody else is doing, sort of. Because it's very, very busy here. Very busy. Okay, now, of the routine stuff, is there anything I forgot? I know you
I
want to
missed,
talk to me.
I missed the first part of it, but I.
Oh, you did miss any? Yeah. All right, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any suggestions? Oh, by the way, those new lights, $17,000. I'll tell you what else I'm doing. You know, we'll negotiate a little bit. Because I've asked him to eventually give me a quote on bringing electricity down to the docks. Because I think the next generation of motors may be electric. If that's the case, you're gonna have to charge it. You're gonna have to have a source of electricity. So that's not tomorrow, but I can see it coming. We have to stay up with things, and I'm trying everything I can do to keep the costs down for everybody. And at the end of December 31st, even though we are, quote, White Marsh Boat Club LLC, doing business as a Hunting Growing Center, is a for-profit institution who's never been profitable. And I hope I'm never profitable. What I want to do is to make sure pour it back in. Just everything that we can do, whether it's cameras, whether it's lights, whatever. And anybody can take a look at our tax return. I don't care. You'll see everything that we're doing and what we need to do. The other thing I wanted to mention yes. Why can't I move ahead on some of the things I want to do? Because I still have a mortgage on all of this. And why do I still have the mortgages? Because of the hurricanes and the bad weather. Because when those docks go, $100,000 goes down the river. Because I cannot insure them. Nobody can insure them. Craig Hoffman thought he could get insurance for his docks. You know, you can if they catch on fire. Or if somebody runs into them, right? I mean, like to destroy them. But for flooding, you know, insurance companies are pretty smart. So, you know, every time that happens, it's $100,000. So I have to go back to the bank. The bank loves me. Because we pay on time. I appreciate all of you writing the checks on time. I don't mind you questioning. I try, you know, really just to make all of our obligations, and at the same time, have a little bit of a cushion. And then I follow every hurricane. Even I tell people I even follow the one that was in Hawaii. You know, just making sure it doesn't do it about those. All right, now nobody has said anything anymore, but I want to tell you. Okay, so when it says introduction and roles of the staff, I apologize to you, Marie. This was the penultimate notice we needed. Marie is very helpful to me because I call her to get a sense of some of the issues that I need to know about in here. So Marie communicates with me very easily and willingly, and at the same time, she's also going to be the dock master for the Heinz Wellness Center when we need it. Okay. Heather Hollis, we all know, is off doing the amazing thing of weightlifting. Yeah, right. Okay, and she'll be back in about, I guess, next week. Joe Sullivan. You know, what would I do with that, Joe? Joe, whose boat is that? Why is it there? Why is it on the ground? Why is it whatever? And Joe was kind enough to go up and get the racks from Connecticut for the new racks that are starting to go in next week. The footings, you gotta put footings in. Because we are in a flood. Okay, and the only thing, and I have to chase him, yes, he's a wonderful, wonderful person that hates pencil and paper. But he's getting better. They're getting better. Thank you. Very good. Jason, there's Jason. Jason, he's working. He's working out there. Jason's very good making my sticks. And when sticks, what I mean by sticks are the racks and foodware and whatever. And Mario sometimes communicates with them. Megan Kennedy, you're one of the old pro. You're not an old pro. You're a young pro on the river. And I need Megan and Kirk and anybody who's been on the river to say, you know, sometimes we're really stupid. We're not very kind to one another. The language, now all of you know, if you don't know, I have never used a foul word in this community, and I don't want to hear that word. And for God's sake, don't with the children, because if you do it with the children, they think they can do it. And you are the mentors. You are the examples of what we're gonna deal with in another 10 years. So, you know, think about if they were all your children and you have to live with them as well as coach them. So you gotta tell them, that's not polite. This is what you say. And any kind of language, I just heard, like, sometimes I don't understand what they're saying, and I'm saying, I know they're using English words. Why don't I understand them? You know, tell them. Speak English, speak American. It's like on the phone when you get your, you know, please may I speak with somebody who speaks American. Your English is excellent, but I don't understand you. You know? Okay. Kirk and Sean Hall. The three of you have to say something. You're responsible for what goes on in that river. Megan, do you have any thoughts about launching or returning, or what can we do better?
I mean, a seventh grade example, I pulled in and there was no line over on one stop and a line to launch from the return dock. So we have one launch ramp and two return ramps, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. The only time there's launching from the return docks is that right after school time until what, 4:30? No, 3, if we could all kind of try to talk. Return to the launch dock and chat kind of, okay. Because I didn't, I feel right around, I had a meeting with my son for 1 hour, was gone. Sorry, I know. It's fine, it's.
Well, you haven't had any, oh, and also Joe's on the business. I haven't had any calls about megaphones in the morning. Or the use of megaphones. I think, are we better not using megaphones down there with the houses? Well, Joe?
On the water. You know, now that all the teams will be back this week, I think coming up in the afternoon, especially like the early sessions. You can't use the whole width of the river right now because it's so low. There's, you know, a lot of rocks and shallow areas, which pushes everyone to the middle. That if we're running up here, may end up having to, if you have 2 or 3 boats out, have them in single file lines, but certainly no more than 2 boats and tight together. Otherwise, we're going to either force people into the rocks or the shallow areas or have collisions. Yeah, we have to be really careful with the shallow water. It's a suggestion I would have.
You know, I just want to mention that everything that is on here, we used to have a big pack of paper I gave everybody. It's all linked. We tested, the links are all working. And I want to do another video clip. I have a friend who's in the Coast Guard Auxiliary and very much in the rowing world. I mean, I was treasurer at Fairmount for 10 years and she rowed here and rowed at the head of the club. But what I want her to do, come here when we have all of our launches parked and do a video of how to tie up a boat properly. All of your boats, all of your launches should have bumpers. You don't have bumpers, so what happens? And you all have to go out with an anchor, and you all have to go out with a paddle. I did own a 14 or 16 foot boat once. I used to take it out in the ocean. I should have been hung. I mean, but I don't have any more sea legs anymore. It just takes a while to get your sea legs back. But it's horrible. And I look at the ropes, it's like somebody tied shoelaces together. And they expect that to hold, especially when the water gets, you know. And the other thing is, if a storm is coming, and we say, get all the launches out, that means you get them out, not on the dock, but you get them out and you carry them and you tie them to a tree. Or you tie them someplace that they're not gonna float down the river. We don't have good mercy here, do we have good mercy?
With Margaret's.
Okay, all right. Oh, yes, okay. So, yes, John.
Well, I wanted to bring up something about, kind of a hot topic, too, about, a little bit about launch etiquette. On the water, it's tough, really difficult with, so many programs and so many launches and not a lot of width to the river. But I would like to see personally, just a little bit more effort made towards trying not to wake out other programs. Particularly if you're in small, so I get there's an 8 going by, trying to whatever, 5, 6. You can let, especially if you got a wakeless launch, trying to go through that. But there are a lot of singles out there and doubles that just have a really hard time trying to deal with wake. And I would just like to see a bit more awareness to that. So that I've been listening to all here now.
Are you seeing any better communications compared to maybe 2 or 3 years ago
I wasn't.
With each other or?
with each other on the river?
Yeah.
Is it a little bit, I think, like in service, gotta say the same thing again and again, saying, okay, all right, Kirk, you.
Here, like, slow it down a little bit instead of speeding, I think. That makes a big difference. Like, they're more responsive to that, but I've driven, like, I'm sitting there and like, somebody's waking everybody out, for no reason, like, everybody here typically. They let their boats launch way before everybody else gets on the water, and then they have to race to catch them up. But they slow down and make a big one. That really screws everybody up. When it gets dark out, lights, bow and stern, and not those little dinky ones that you can't even see. You gotta make it like apparent there. So, I mean, White Marsh has the light band, we have the light band, the bound, those are great. The viewability, far away. Really helpful to make the headlights, especially for math, early in the morning. And all of us that end up going late at night and it's starting to get stuff.
I'm slow to do anything. I'm sort of getting back into the groove of things. Just don't let me raise my voice. I want to talk to Craig Hoffman and see what we can do about. We're not going to have an upriver Schuylkill Navy. We're not going to do that. But there are enough people here from several different houses that we're neighbors. We have to talk to one another and be considerate and know what's going on in general. I mean, we don't need to know the tiny details of what's going on in the different houses. So, I will call Craig. I like speaking with Craig. He was very helpful to me over the years. Whatever. No more questions. No more suggestions for now. You'll think of it 2 hours from now. That's okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so where are we? Time's going.
Go over any of this?
Yeah, the code of conduct. What's that said? LC.
Link.
Oh, it's a link. Yeah. I got it. Okay. The locker rooms and the herb rooms, thanks very much for the for cleaning upstairs, Joe. It's much improved. The locker rooms, I think some of the things have to be done again. The painting of the doors. Yeah. Okay. Safety guidelines. We know about the safety. Oh, yes, yeah.
The locker name,
What?
the toilets. You didn't finish that?
Oh, yes. Every time somebody has. Because I don't know who it is. A lot of rowers eat a lot of food, which means they have very large bowel movements. So every time Noelle has to clear a toilet, she charges me $50. I told her I'm not gonna pay her anymore until she takes a picture of the toilet. And putting it on the door saying, is this yours? I mean, I'm just tired of it. And then it goes in spurts, and you know, I'm hoping it's not a woman when it happens in the men's room. I hope it's not a man when it happens in the, it happens in both rooms. So, but I try to keep the toilets very good, and remember, if, in case you don't know this, our toilet system is not like the normal toilet system. Because we are in a floodplain, and because of the angle, I have to pump our sewage. Well, pumps don't like stream. They don't like to get caught up, and when that happens, that's another, anywhere, depending upon the degree, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 to fix. So it's very important. I mean, we're on top of the women, I hope, as much as we can about their sanitary products. But the bowel movements are just incredible. So enough of that.
Tell our kids all the time, you can talk with it, there's planters in the bathroom, in case any of the coaches haven't paid attention to it. If your kids see it, let someone know. I mean, I have no problem going in and planting the toilets, and most of the kids, you mentioned that they should do it. They see it and they look at you like, oh, that's disgusting. And most of them have no clue how to do it anyway, so. But we can take steps if they tell us, so just remind your kids to let you know, the toilet's clogged. Yeah,
The toilet,
no one else wants to do them, I'll do them in the men's room, Susan, that she has no problem doing them in the women's room. But.
I mean, I tell you, I don't have any problem if the mount goes out because Megan and their coaches take care of whatever they have to take care of, which is fine with me. They manage their building very well. So, whatever. We seem to have less rodents, don't we? Since we have the little boxes. And we have the boxes because, you know, they like to eat. And they eat because we leave these open. Whatever. So the coaches, I am going to ask you, as you get into the, please check the toilets before you go home. So at least we know who's doing it. You know, and then teach them how, all we got to do maybe is teach a few how to clear a toilet. Let them use the pump, right? Okay, enough of that. What other nice things can we talk about?
We're gonna talk about, so if you're a junior coach and your kid is in, if any of the kids are in high school. Have to be here until they're off premises with another adult. You can't just abandon them, you can't leave them to wander around, can't leave them sitting at the end. You're responsible as a coach, you're actually responsible for anything that happens to them. And we see it a lot. We're leaving, oh, there's a line of kids just sitting out there on the cement that aren't ours. Waiting for rides and there's no coach in sight. So really, if something happens to those kids and you're their coach, you're gonna get sued. I don't care. Just the way it happened. You know, so please be responsible for those kids. You can't let them herd by themselves, can't let them weightless by themselves, can't let them launch boats by themselves. It doesn't matter if they're 18. If they're in high school, they looks at it a different way. You know, they're responsible for that.
And I would say you might be a good turning away from, doesn't matter if you're their coach or not. You left the child there. And you may be liable for, as I said, a good attorney argues it one way or another. Or there's a settlement, which just needs cash out.
It's in all our agreements, all of our lease
It's in all
agreements,
of our-
there has to be an adult on it.
But what do we do if they're there? Like, I just, I mean, I've been through many times this month. I went for 48 days.
Yeah,
Find some.
Well, I would suggest ask if there's a child there from program A and there's no coach there from program A, and you know that that child is from program A. You call the coach and say, I'm staying here. But then you CC up the line to the ultimate CC, Ms. Lois.
Yeah, please, make sure that we know about it as well. Because I'm the first one to get the letter.
The first job is safety.
Absolutely.
It's not anything but that. But you cannot have your kids rowing up and down the river by themselves without the boat. Doesn't matter. If they know how to row along. You're not riding a boat, I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I can jump in. I'm just gonna start at the Heinz Center Boathouse, just a code of conduct really quick. So we do need that for every single athlete. And that can be returned to me, Marielle at hrcrowing.org. What are you asking for? The code of conduct.
oh, the code of conduct.
So that can be returned. If you scan it, I can accept the PDF, that's fine, or if you want to hand me that stack of paper, that's fine too. But they need to be in as soon as possible, and yes, the worksheet, yeah.
We did it in January, isn't it, good, December?
Is it good for a year?
Is it good
For
for
returning
you?
athletes. For the code of conduct.
Oh, every year.
Yeah, once a year.
But do we have to do that
January, September.
Yeah, it's like with the roster.
Right.
We have to know who's on, if they signed the waiver and the code of conduct.
So our waivers are not paper, they are digital.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, we accept digital.
Well, they're on a registration and
Or if you have a list for
Yes.
that's fine. Yeah.
And whether there's the US rowing waiver and then there's the Heinz Rowing Center code of conduct.
yes, have our own. So yeah, we have our all digital.
With the locker room, the only thing I wanted to touch on is we tried to organize the teams a little bit more. I know some of the signs fell off, so I have to double check in the women's room. And we can do that for the men's room as well. Nothing really to touch on there, just a reminder that we tried to organize people to have spaces based on team size. And the team size with roster, just keep letting me know if your roster is updated, what the new number is, how many new athletes you have, so I can mark that on the invoice, so we have that for our information. Lois said, the Upper Sweet River safety guidelines, and everything admin wise is on the website as well. For your sticky, is the issue with any. Any safety guidelines, I encourage everybody to give it a once over, just make sure you're familiar with it, even if you're a returning coach, it's always good to stay on top. The swim waiver as well is in the upper Google River safety guidelines packet with the check. I have one update from Joe. I'm gonna skip down to the coaches list. So the coaches contact list is as updated as of the 5th. Joe did send me an update, but I will send an agenda with the additional updated links, including the coaches contact list and the practice schedule. So for both of those, just keep me in the loop, keep sending me updates so I can update that for everyone. And the practice schedule, if you haven't sent me any changes, I didn't change it yet. So that's based off of the information that you guys provide me. And then to go back up to the safety river guidelines, the swim waivers in there, and then there's also a link for the course map on our course that we have here. The rack assignments, that sheet is being updated, so again, I'll be able to provide an updated link for that. But we want to make sure that you all have access to that as well. Those are my biggest things, so you can go down to launches. I just wanted to reiterate again what some other people have said, respect is so big, as Lois said, we're mentors for the community and our rowers here. We want to make sure that we're always speaking to each other with respect and our rowers, because we definitely set the tone in the smallest of ways, which I'm sure we're all aware of, but just wanted to reiterate that. For launch assignments, that's also being updated as well, so it's been a couple shuffles, and I've also recorded with the launches that are here currently, the registration codes and making sure that your stickers match. Not the number on your boat as well. So I'll be sending that out just for you to double check your numbers also. Make sure that everything's labeled. Engines if you can, launches, trailers, maybe your smaller trailers, make sure anything that you're responsible for is labeled. That way too, if there's ever a scenario where we would need to move anything, we can contact you directly to keep you updated about any changes. Also with launches, just to reiterate, make sure you're keeping up with maintenance, make sure you have your launch bag fully stocked. It's only happened a few times when somebody from downriver would like to check in on your wares. But you do need to make sure that you have them. That full list I can provide if anybody needs it.
Check in on this, like your.
The voting license.
Yeah, well, not so much of their license, but your, the brand operation card. You get a ticket if you don't have.
Has it in a plastic that's taped right to the
I'm
side.
just saying, you're not there, don't figure it.
Registration, life jackets,
Yeah.
paddle, whistle.
No.
That's
Yeah.
And then, so I'm pretty much done with everything. I just speak about admin wise. Regarding the fire marshal, the only thing that I want to remind everyone is keep exits clear, both in and out of doors, and just general awareness, same tale as old as time. You need to be aware of yourself and your surroundings, make sure your kids are aware of their surroundings. And also, I'm gonna reiterate that we do have extra copies here for the parking lot. This is a pickup. Because some people don't have their parents pick them up, sometimes it's their guardians, this is a pickup. And the way that I describe it is the parents or the pickup is going to enter the entrance gate, make a shallow U, drop off or pick up, and then go right out the exit.
They make an immediate left.
An immediate left. And then the word from our fire marshal, I don't know. Yeah,
Just remind your kids that they're getting picked up, to not stay here, like. Or by the wall to go down towards the fence. They tend to sit over here for
fire marshal points, have us reiterate that they're not smart dog walking, it's no parents, no kids, we should make a line, safety and fire has and guard at the traffic on this road with the apartment section. And following that also, we're not supposed to use for the fire side of the Washington's, but they also supposed to go towards the right yet. Still, something using the that was some fire. Otherwise, again, anything admin wise, or guest form, have somebody that's coming on campus to figure just want to know, still have a guest form and send it to me. Code of conduct and safety guidelines for all on the website. College. Yes. So that's just what you're talking, the guest form. That people fill out for the followers. Does that count for college coaches?
I think if a coach is inviting a photographer, pictures, send us an email.
College.
The college, either the high school, the college, whatever, and we'll put it in, the organization files that we have.
If you have a quick second to let us know if college coaches are coming, that's just helpful, so we're aware of what's going on. I guess we don't need to fill out the formal form, just let us know so we can keep track.
In writing, you know, and, oh, this is my other thing, I'll forward it.
If anybody else has been given the code, but mailing Jacksonville.
Please do not send me a text message unless I can answer it with yes, no, or maybe. Send me an email. Because that email frequently has to go someplace, either into our server, I still call it a server, you know, it's on the cloud. You know, either on the server or into the, well, but for the text messages, copy, and then I gotta do this, yeah. And then I screw it up, and then, you know, please, I hate text. Send me an email, okay? Doesn't take much longer. Saves me a lot of time. Okay? I know, you know, some people, I'm amazed, people don't talk to one another anymore. I had to call somebody today and they said, oh, I never call her, I just text her. It's so impersonal. You can learn so much by the way they say things, right? Anyway, go ahead.
That was my bit, I wanted to give the slip and the doc talk to Marie if you wanted to go over anything. Yeah.
No, I think for the most part, everybody here, the coaches are all pretty good. They've been training their teams to, be quick. I mean, I get it, we have a lot of novice rowers as well, but they're doing well and they, are having trouble getting in. I help them come in, but for the most part. Most of these kids or most of these coaches have already schooled their kids on how to come into the dock and yeah, I mean. For the most part, I had to tell some masters rowers this morning, they cannot use that launch dock to cover it from. Even though it looks empty, we have programs launching all different times of the day, so. I will make sure I tell White Marsh that again, so.
I just want to put out there, it's super helpful to help her and
Yes.
to have someone on the dock that's been a game changer.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay, now we haven't even been here an hour. I think our first coaches meeting almost went 2 hours. So, I mean, is it, you're becoming more wise, more efficient? Or do we understand what our programs are about? I have a question. All of you have coaches. Do all of you register? That's not the right word. Do all of you take the coaches certification with US Rowing?
You have to now.
You have to.
Well, each program has to have at least one, that's the rule,
Yeah.
be insured by them.
The new one
My
is
God,
everybody.
you're nice.
In 2025.
So as of January, everybody on every coach has to be a level one. The time you have to have one person, by the next year. Well,
To have the insurance, have to have one person as well.
so that's third. If you're an organizational member.
That's what I meant, with your organization, yeah.
We're an organizational member, such a waiver. Right?
Oh,
So
okay.
There's this classic round table about it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anybody have any suggestions for the homegoing ceremony? I need to know, not what I want to hear. Okay, I'll tell you something that sort of, I'm not sure what to do about. I think this is an amazing organization, not Heinz Rowington. All of you. And we're not really, let's say, parlaying the benefits of what you all are giving to youngsters and the parents. I'm not even sure. And one of the things I might get on Mario about is communicating with the newspapers, any media, of the accomplishments of what you all. I mean, it dawned on me, I don't want to go back to George's death, but his eulogy. When somebody asked me, oh, it was Christoph, what the significance of George had with the Hanselman. They were asking me about this. You all, as coaches, are enabling children to go to college every year to the tune of millions with an S, which is phenomenal. How many people know that? Very few. And if nothing else, when I want to get my partner, who I don't know who it is yet, and I don't mean legal partner, I just mean money partner, to build the annex, that's gonna be a big hook. And I certainly don't do it. You all do it. So it's amazing what you are doing for our future. So that's why I'm saying to you all, watch your language, watch your behavior patterns, be courteous, be polite. I'm laughing because I came from a blue collar neighborhood and I went to the mount. And all of a sudden there were different type of people in that. And this one parent of a very good friend of mine basically took me under her arm and taught me what I needed to know. How to set a table, how to say hello, how to greet people. That's what some of you might have to do with your youngster. I hope you know how to do it. Yeah. You know how to set a table, the knife works. Yeah, but that's the age that you are dealing with. So please think about it. And I'll tell you, I don't know who they are or when they are, but if I hear anything that annoys me, we'll know it real fast. And I'll say to myself, don't touch them, don't touch them, don't touch them. Before I let loose.
I know we forgot the dress code.
What?
The dress code.
Oh, well. Dress code.
Yeah, I forgot the dress code.
Oh, God, yes, right. Okay. What? Dress code. There are no sport bras. There are no bare chests. I really don't like looking at those scrawny teenage boys. with sticky ribs who think that they're, whatever. Everybody must wear a shirt. Why? For health reasons. I'm looking at melanoma in 5 to 10 years. They must wear a shirt. They must use, SP 60 on their arms. How many coxswains have had melanoma? You'd be surprised. Be surprised. I did. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. There's a mistake actually in the lease, which I will correct. In the Learn to Rows, we charge $70 participant plus 12% of the gross. Well, it dawned on me, I'm double dipping. All right, so all of you who have Learn to Row programs who keep count, because it's all on the honor system. $70 per person, and let's say you collect $1,000. Let me do it easier this way. Yeah, all right, $1,000. And you have 10 who participate. Well, it would be more than that, it'd be more like 5,000. Anyway, let's just say that. So what you do is you 10 times 70 is $700. You subtract that from the gross. And then it's 12% of the net. So it's gross minus the participant fee, which is the net, which is then 12% of that. So the only person who has sent me a check about Learn to Row so far is Villa Marie. And that's when I saw that check and said, then I realized I was double dipping. So I'll give you the credit and any future stuff, that's how we calculate. It's all in the honor system. But remember, that's why you're gonna have sunset to sunrise lights, and we have the cameras and the internet. It's really amazing. When things don't work, one way or another, I gotta make sure they work. Sometimes I'm really not sure what I'm doing. So that's a little tricky. Right, okay, anything else?
The only thing is, if you have had changes to your coaching staff, can you just take a look at this? I'm expecting updates, that's fine. Or
I have
email-
a bunch
email them.
Yeah.
Just take,
Back there.
okay,
It's all on pages.
okay. So just take a look at this before you leave. There's a few copies of things if you need them. And otherwise just send me any updates that you have. That's really it. I'm good.
And if you didn't sign in, make sure you sign in. And did you get the names off of the?
I will be able to.
We recorded this. So if any of your assistant coaches want to hear me babble, well, they can listen to this, they'll go to sleep that night. And whatever. He's take an apple or a banana.
He's scared.
Whatever. Okay. And I think we can call it. Does anybody have any other issues or discussion? Yes, sir.
I have a quick request. Is there a possibility to get the door in the corner? Door to the.
That door?
Yeah, access from the outside
So you want to be able to open it from the outside?
before the.
Right, okay, now, I know what you're talking about, I talked to a few locksmiths. Yeah, I know, I talked to a few locksmiths and they said, that's a big job. And then that's the last I heard from them, it can be fixed. It can be fixed. I want it fixed. I don't like walking all the way around. If somebody else had something?
Just thank you for continuing.
We're on board now. All right, okay, please take, the vitamin C.
Thank you.
And take care of the kids.